Hey everybody, this is P-Town, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Math Magic, my tutorial series where I build cool stuff, show you the cool stuff I build, and then if you think it's cool, then you build it too, and we all have a lot of fun. So, today I realized something, and this kind of made me a little bit worried, but a long time ago I made some videos of Overworld Zombie Pigman Farms, really gold farms, essentially, and they were good for what we could do back then. But it came to my attention that people are still watching those videos and like ostensibly trying to build them, which makes me a little worried because that's a very time-consuming process, and there's much better ways to do it. So I thought I'd show you guys some of the updates you can do to the farm, or really the newest designs that allow you to get really, really good rates, better rates than back then, actually, for much lower obsidian and time cost to you. So a couple things that change that we can take advantage of are the portal sizes. They used to be only this big. You guys know this. Yeah. Nope, not quite. Yeah, these little rinky-dink portals. That's a little high, isn't it? Yeah, that was it, and that was the only size we got. So, yeah, that wasn't very good. And another thing that I believe has changed, but maybe it's been in the game longer and I just now noticed it, is that you can put portals immediately adjacent to each other. So, like this. I thought you used to have at least one block between them in order to get them to light, but actually, it turns out you don't. As you can see, there's actually a portal here. You just can't see it until I go around to the other side. It's a visual thing. But yeah, being able to cram that many portal blocks, like the swirly portal blocks, into one area greatly increases the rates we can get for the zombie pigman spawns. So taking advantage of this, I'm going to show you guys how to build the newest iteration of the Overworld Zombie Pigman Farm. So stay tuned, and I'll explain some of the stuff about why this is laid out the way it is as we build it, because I think that'd be the best thing. Alright everybody, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is set up the framework for all of the portal frames, and we're going to build these at their maximum size for maximum efficiency. So it's going to be 23 blocks wide, but there's, if you don't use obsidian in the corners, then it's only 21 blocks of obsidian, so we'll do that. 9, 21, good. And then we'll go 21 blocks up with obsidian. Yep, and then we'll bring it across. I'm not really counting, I'm just kind of spamming the blocks right now. Bring it up. And just kind of eyeball where they meet. Perfect. Great, so this is one portal frame. I can show you guys. This is the maximum size. And what really affects the spawning efficiency of zombie pigmen is how many of these purple swirly particles, or not particles, but the purple swirly blocks. Those blocks there are. With these portal frames, obviously you get as many as possible in with the least obsidian cost to you. So next we're going to take this 23 blocks over, just for the sake of the video I'm making this a cube shape, but it doesn't have to be a cube. Obviously these are like tileable, so you can only have one portal frame, you could have 3 portal frames, you could have 100 portal frames. It's all up to you. Alright, I've extended the stone framework 23 blocks. These just represent the corners of all of the portal frames we're about to build. I'm not going to build them all on camera because that's a big waste of your time, but I will just lay out the obsidian briefly to show you how many portals we're going to have in adjacent to each other. So basically 3. Skip 1 block between each 3 portals and just continue the pattern like this. Ah, perfect. Now you just need to complete your portal frames, all 23 of these, or however many you choose to build. Again, it's up to you. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'll be right back. And there it is, the completed portal frames, all 18 of them, I believe. Yeah, 18. The next step in this process is to double check, make sure all your frames are complete. You didn't miss a piece of obsidian, because otherwise they won't light. So they look good to me. Obviously, I'm in creative mode, so it's a bit easier than if you're doing this in survival. But it's definitely possible in survival, too. Now, the next step is to add some trapdoors. This will get the zombie pigmen to fall down into a collection area we're about to build later. But I would put some in the center here, just like this. Just one. And some on the sides, somewhere between the center and the sides. 4 blocks in looks good to me. So I'm down here. There was a time, and we'll do the same thing on this side. There was a time in the past where I would have said, like, you need trapdoors on every single block for every single portal, but my understanding of pathfinding has changed recently. So let me explain. If a zombie pigman spawns here, immediately he's going to look around for a place to walk to. And it's an area of about a 12 radius. So he can, within 12 blocks, he can search for a pathfindable area. And if he finds one, like say, I don't know, here, he will look for a path to that area, which will probably be something like this. Since trapdoors are a connecting block between, I made a video about trapdoors a long time ago, but trapdoors act as a connecting block between two areas that would normally be impassable. Like if this trapdoor wasn't here, and none of the trapdoors were here, he wouldn't be able to get to this spot. So this path wouldn't exist. So he would look for another area to go to. It would probably be something like here, something on the frame he's already in. But with that trapdoor, he's able to get to that spot. So you only need a few trapdoors because you just need enough to give them a way to the area they're trying to walk to. The next thing to build is the collection area beneath the portal frames. I'll go ahead and lay that out right now because it's kind of time consuming. And it's a really simple thing to understand. You just want 3 blocks of airspace between the portal and your collection area down here. So I'll go ahead and lay that out real quickly so we can see what that's all about. Alright guys, here it is, the first step of our collection process with the channel and the watering and the madness and everything. I've placed these blue stained clay blocks just to show you where the water's going to go. Basically, you just have water on all the edges, but in the corners you have the water source raised up by 1 block. And what that does is it just prevents dead spaces in the water, and it keeps the water from forming like an infinite spring source and just covering the whole thing in solid water blocks, which we also don't want. And would be an enormous pain to clean up since you'd have to place blocks again on top of everything and then delete them all to get rid of the water. So the next step is to put all the water in on all of these clay blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'll come back when that's finished. And here it is with the completed water channels. Well, not entirely complete. As you can see, we've got no dead spaces in the water, which is good, but the water kind of comes to this big 5x5 area, and we're going to need to funnel the zombie pigmen into a much smaller area if we want to process them effectively. So we're going to cut out a row here, and the rest of this 4x5 area, we're going to lower 1 block. So I'm actually going to go beneath here. 3, 4. And build it out. And then I'm just going to cut this away. And if I did it right, yep, good. We've got blocks there. So next we're going to add signs here. It's just going to stop the water from getting into this channel. Oh, water sounds weird. There we go. Good. And we're going to lower it 1 more block. And put a channel here. Very nice. And we're going to need to cover that side as well. Yeah, there we go. A sign here. And 1 more water source there. Now, this is not symmetrical, which may bother some people. But I found that when you're funneling mobs around, it's best if you give one direction priority. Meaning, zombie pigmen that are coming from this side will get to the funnel faster than zombie pigmen that are coming from this side. And zombie pigmen that approach from this direction will have a longer time before they can get to this central area than zombie pigmen that approach from this direction. And when you give a certain direction priority, that generally decreases jams in the system. which nobody likes. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is bring a tube down. This is where the zombie pigman will be funneled to and eventually processed, if you know what I'm saying. Good. We're going to add a block here. We're going to use a tripwire to detect when a zombie has fallen into the funnel. So we can delete these blocks actually, so we can place our tripwire and our string. Let me grab some of those real quick. String, very good. So tripwire hooks on the magenta blocks. I'm using the magenta blocks in this tutorial just to show where redstone stuff is going to be. So we can close that up just in case baby zombie pigmen happen to fall on that block, which is rare, but it can happen. And we're going to bring a redstone signal over here. Next I'm going to build Ethos Hopper timer clock. It's not my design, so I wouldn't feel comfortable, you know, building it as if it were. But we will be using it, so I'll build it really quickly. Go check out his tutorial on that because it's his and it's really cool and it's super useful. So I'll build that and I'll be right back. Alright, Ethos Hopper Timer is installed. I've made a couple, or we're going to make a couple modifications to it really. First it's in a vertical arrangement, which is handy for us. We're going to add a little detection system here for this hopper. So if there are any items, basically what this does is if there are any items in this hopper at all, it will lock this piston in an extended position. We're also going to add a redstone torch here. So remember, this is the signal from the tripwire hook. So when it's depressed, this redstone torch will turn off. This redstone torch right now is keeping this piston also in a locked position. And we're going to add a block here that will have redstone on it, just like that, as well as a sticky piston facing in. And we're going to replace that glass with something solid and crushable, because this is our crusher. And, oh yeah, one last thing. We're going to add some items to the hoppers. Probably 40 or so. I think 40 is a good number, if I remember right. So we'll just stick them in there. Good. Now basically with these little additions, this crusher will only activate when all of the items have passed through this hopper, and this piston will only unextend when a mob passes through this tripwire hook here. Just one last thing we got to add now. We're almost there. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, we're going to add just a collection, very, very simple collection thingy. Don't you love my titles for stuff? Collection thingy. Just right here. Just going to stick a chest there. Hopper pointing into it. Actually, let's make it a double chest, because we want all that gold. Put the glass back. Oh, and one last thing. Can I do it quickly enough? Probably not. So I'm going to stick the water there. There we go. Replace that block. Perfect. All this does is this keeps zombie pigmen from jumping up and down erratically. The water kind of lets them bob gently while they get crushed by this block. And the hopper, of course, will put all of our goodies into this large box. So, that's pretty much it. The only thing left to do is fire it up, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, and open all the trapdoors, because I don't think we've... Yeah, they're all closed. So, go ahead and open those puppies. Oh. One place box. Good. Now to light them all up. Now, it doesn't look like portals are being created, but if I were to fly straight into it, you would see the particle effects. I'm not going to do that because I'm in creative mode. It would take me to the nether. But there's another way to tell that the portal's there. So it doesn't look like there's a portal on this block, right? Like right in front of this magenta block. But if I fly to this side, you can see that there is a portal there. So it's just a visual thing. Don't worry about it. The portals are definitely there. And if I am set to hard, which I am, good, we should start to see some zombie pigmen spawning very soon. Aha! First spawn. Welcome to the world. Yep, and he's already walked off. So I'll take you guys around to the side so we can hopefully see some pathfinding in action. The guy walked off there. Yeah, he went straight for the trapdoor, and so did he. So yeah, it's... I mean, you could increase the speed at which they fall off very slightly by putting trapdoors on every row, but really, This is all you need to be effective. And here is the system in action. They also will reactivate the tripwire hook as they bounce in the water, which is good because just in case any other zombie pigman doesn't come in after them, they can activate the crusher themselves, which is handy. As you can see, we've got an item in the hopper, which is keeping this piston locked as soon as they pass. Yep. Piston will move back, putting the redstone block in front of this crusher. So that's good. Baby zombie pigmen pose a little bit of a problem. Sometimes they don't quite get crushed. They just kind of glitch out into the corner. Doesn't really affect anything, and they will eventually die. They're just kind of glitchy right now in this version, which by the way is 1.7.9. So, yeah. Also, the zombie pigman spawns are not affected by the mob cap, so even once all the hostile mobs are starting to see spawn at night, spawn into the game, zombie pigman will continue to spawn at a normal rate. It's kind of like a mob spawner in that sense. So you can accumulate as many of these guys as your heart desires. We should start to see the gold pouring in. Yes, sir. So this will produce pretty quickly for a very low amount of obsidian. I can't remember quite what that amount is, but I'll put it in this chest. Alright, I tallied it up. Are you ready to see how much obsidian this whole thing costs? Bam! That much. So, how much is that? 27, 28, 29, and 40. So, almost 30 stacks of obsidian, which may seem like a lot, but compared to how these farms used to be built with the small portal frames, yeah, that's very cheap to me. Plus, look at the rates we're getting. Very nice. And this is nighttime too. So, yeah, one thing to be aware of is that sometimes when a mob glitches into a corner, like this guy was, when you relog or reload the chunks, sometimes he'll glitch out. So it might be a good idea to put a fence around this area, just this little crusher area, until Mojang sorts out that glitch. So anyway, hope you guys learned something from this tutorial. Thanks again for making it all the way to the end, and for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys again next time.